What's up, guys? I don't know what I was going to say. I do know what I was going to say. So tonight we have channeled reads. I also have a few of you guys to catch up on from yesterday. I was going to go live yesterday afternoon and I forgot to schedule it, which don't you love how intuition works and the universe works? My kid needed me really badly last night. So we hung out and watched way too much Adventure Time and ate chips and queso. So yeah, I needed that. My kid needed that. Anyway, we are going to do some channeled reads this evening. First, I am going to catch up on my reads from, if I can find the right tab, there we go, that I was supposed to do last night. I'm going to catch up on those real quick. For those of you guys that have channeled reads, I know some of you guys have first 5 reads. Those will be after these first few, well, these first 5 full moon motivation reads. And then after I get done with these reads, I am going to turn this over to subscriber only after the reads, okay? And we're going to, y'all are going to help me do some scheduling for the next week or so. So, yeah, you guys get to have some input on what you would like to see. But in the meantime, Stephanie and Abra, y'all are first. Y'all have full reads. And then Jennifer, Lesa, and Maribeth, y'all have single card pulls. So we're going to get to those first. And then, yeah. All right, Miss Abracadabra, you're first. And no, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. And I don't even know if she's here. But I will make sure that these get uploaded. Downloaded? Uploaded? Downloaded? All right, Abra. Throwing cards at me. Oh, you're at war with yourself. Okay. All right. So 2 cards drew nice and calm. These other 2 drew like crazy whopper jawed like this. Okay. The reason that you feel stuck lately is kind of, let's just say, twofold. Okay. You have one path that you know you should be taking. You have another path that keeps infringing on the path that you're supposed to be on. And this usually happens when we find the path that we're supposed to be on. The universe has, I don't know, testers, agents of chaos, whatever you want to call them, that come slamming in. We need music, don't we? Don't we? Do we need music? I feel like we need music. No, wrong one. Hold on. Music. Bam. I'm going to do this one instead. Oh. Got way too low. All right. So, Miss Abra, you are 100% at war with these, we're just going to call them forces. Actually, I can't do that tonight. I do want the music, but I can't. It made my brain do some weird shit, so we're not going to do that. Can't do it. All right. I could focus on Abra. That's what I could do. All right. Here's the thing. Abra, you start off with the Sovereign, and then you have Ancestors. This is the path that you're supposed to be on, okay? The Sovereign is all about you standing up in and for who you are. I know that you've been through some intense shit over the last couple of years. Intense, horrible shit. The other aspect of this is that when you know that you are not being true to who you are, when you are not being true to yourself and your path, you don't feel as strong as you used to. It's hard to walk this path. it's really hard to walk this path. It's so easy to get pulled off. It's so easy to get pulled off in material aspects, in making everyone else happy, in doing what you feel like everybody else needs you to do, wants you to do, etc. But the thing is, I know damn well that when I pulled this ancestor card, it meant something unique to you. Not just, oh, probably should do some ancestor work. Didn't mean that. What it meant to Abra was all of those signs that you've been seeing, all of those times that you've been reminded of people that are gone, that you've been reminded of family traditions, of things that have happened, good and bad. And I say that for a reason because I know you understand what I mean. All of the ancestor aspects that have been popping up lately have been for a reason. And I don't think you've been able to put the reason together yet. So hopefully this will help. You have to start standing up for the sovereign aspect of Abra again. Here's the path that keeps coming in that is very tempting, and it always kind of pulls you aside a little bit, and we're going to talk about why. These cards fell out like this. This is the Outlaw, and then Get Wild fell like this. So that need to be crazy, that need to do things that maybe you shouldn't do, that need to go out and wreck the whole world, whatever that need is, this is a shadow aspect that is popping back up. Hey, Ashley, let me pause my reading and answer real quick. Nobody's answering on the weekends because we have been moving and undoing stuff. Everything that was ready to go has been shipped. So if you'll give me just a little bit, it'll probably be tomorrow when people are back in the shop. I will make sure that we figure out where your order is and get you the tracking number. Christine was here over the last few days and she sent out a lot, like several hundred orders. The post office hopefully will not treat them the way that they've been treating the orders in the past, because we will have a huge problem if they do. But I will make sure that we get your tracking number to you. And I apologize. I apologize for nobody getting a message back to you. I wish that I knew what the right thing was to do with Wix, because it's getting irritating again. Just so you guys know, over the Thanksgiving weekend and the next week after, we will be moving to a new site. Which sucks for us here because that means keeping up with two sites, but I can't have Wix continue to lose y'all's messages. And just know that if you guys send stuff to the email, it may not get seen, because that thing, there's 32,000 emails in there right now. There's a lot. So just so you guys know, if it goes to the site, we will see it. But I just wanted to kind of pause and be able to like let you know that I had saw your message and like here your thing. I will make sure you get a tracking number and figure out where everything went. But yeah, I can't have this do this anymore. I have worked with Wix since 2021, early 2021. And it just keeps getting worse with the messages. It keeps getting worse. And it sucks because all of my business, all of my orders for the last 4 years, 3 years, whatever, are here. So yeah, it's fucking stupid. But I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I personally saw your messages. So that way, we can get you what you need and find your order. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I got you answered. But Miss Abra, let's get back to Miss Abra. The reason that these two things right here are pushing you to get off of the path that you're supposed to be on is because these are shadow aspects of yourself. This outlaw aspect of, you know, let me buck the system. Let me not do what everybody wants me to do. Let me go do the fun, horrible shit. You guys all know what I'm talking about. Everybody has something that their family goes, oh my God, you know, but you love to do it because your family goes, oh my God. And then you have the Get Wild card as well. And like I said, they fell out like this. So that way that way you scratch that itch of this shadow aspect right here. But it keeps you from this. It keeps you from this queen aspect path. It keeps you from working with ancestors. It keeps you from the path that you're supposed to be on. So here's what I'm going to recommend. Here's how you kind of quell this outlaw, get wild, I need to buck the system and not do what I need to do. It's not what you're supposed to do. It's not what your family wants you to do. It's none of that shit. It is this right here, the path you're supposed to be on, the reason that you can't seem to do it. You, and I hate saying this, but this is really actually an easy fix. It's actually an easy fix. This is all shadow work. But it's not just, oh, well, why did I wake up in a shitty mood this morning? This is not a shadow work aspect like that. This is a deep dive into patterns, into family, into why you have learned that this outlaw aspect and this get wild aspect is a part of you, why you have learned that that's how you get ahead or attention or whatever it is. There's a deep dive down this of why this is a thing. And what I'm going to say about it is, let me turn my phone down. What I'm going to say about it is, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. Not only is it going to suck, but it brings you to some realizations about some people in your life, in your family, some people close to you and yourself, of why you have learned these things, why you have learned these aspects. So know that it's easy and horrible at the same time. I know you can do it because you have an amazing path that you're supposed to be on. You have tons of ancestors and people behind you. And I know you can do it. I have faith in you. I have faith in you, Miss Abra. All right. Miss Stephanie. By the way, thank you to everybody that, that has sent photos of boxes that y'all received that were completely jacked up. I will be sending my my email to the post office dude that's been, I don't know what his end goal is, but I will be sending that, probably because I made a complaint before. All right, Miss Stephanie. Okay. So you threw out 2 sideways here, and you threw out 2 regular ones here. One of your mugs was busted. Did you let me know? I mean, did you send a message? I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I love that, Carissa. All right, Miss Stephanie, you ready? So you have surrender and love that flung out like this. And apparently this is weighing pretty heavily on you. And I have a feeling that a lot of people need to hear this evening. So it's really kind of funny because I myself was thinking about this, the thing that's fixing to come out of my face for you here in just a little bit. And I love how the universe works because obviously there's a lot of people here that need to hear this aspect of your read that weren't here last night. Y'all, it is completely 100% okay. It's completely 100% okay for you not to have someone. It is. I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. Client, friend, whatever. He's going through a horrible divorce. And we had a chat about learning to be okay, learning to be alone, appreciating being alone, and that it gets addicting. Because we are told our entire lives, well, not really you guys in Gen Z and some of you younger millennials. But those of us that are older, we're told that we have to have someone. We have to have a spouse, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a significant other for us to have value, because we need to be taking care of other people, letting other people take care of us. We need to have love. We need to have blah, blah, blah. Okay. You don't. I'm just going to say right now, you don't. Once you break that addiction, and that's exactly what it fucking is that addiction to having someone else there. Once you break that addiction, that freedom then becomes addiction. That freedom, that being able, if you want to go to dinner, you can pick up and go to fucking dinner. If you want to sit at home in the biggest, dirtiest, grossest sweatpants, you can without anybody going, oh. If you want to take up the whole front of the bed, if you want to sleep on the couch, if you want to eat ice cream for dinner, whatever the fuck it is, you have the freedom to do that. But the problem is, this still will creep in. Even when you've been by yourself for years and you're happy with it, this still will creep in. Well, I'm not really good enough because, nobody wants me. So that loneliness creeps in and it kind of fucks with your head a little bit. But I'm going to tell you this right now. You cannot fully appreciate or be in a very solid relationship if you have never, ever known what it's like to be okay on your own. And I know some of you guys are like, well, but I've known so-and-so has been married for like 59 bazillion years or whatever. Because they were either lucky enough to have time to be alone before they found that person and got married, or they found that person and got married when they were young and they found something that doesn't exist almost in today's world. And I hate to sound super cynical like that, but in a world of just swiping on the next person, it's really hard to find someone that is super dedicated. So you don't have to have someone. You don't have to give everything to someone else. You don't have to surrender and settle and whatever it is for somebody that is going to treat you like fucking ass. You can treat your own self like ass if you want to, but you don't need somebody else to do it for you. And I don't know who else needed to hear that, but let me tell you guys this, and then we're going to talk about the rest of Stephanie's reading. So when I was going through losing my mom, and I say going through it, my mom passed away from an aneurysm, like here that morning, gone that night. And I've talked about this a lot. And during that summer of 2014, so 10 years ago, I had to go through my mom's stuff because we had to move it all to my house. And then I had to go through it because let's just say my uncle is a fucking dirtbag. Let's just say that. So as I'm going through things, at this same time, I was married to someone that anytime there was attention on someone else, that person would freak out and the attention would then have to be on them. Every holiday, every birthday, any big event, whatever. If his parents weren't fighting, he started a fight with someone in the house. So I am in the middle of my bedroom floor and I'm going through photos so I can split them with my sister and so on. And I'm bawling like a bitch because here's all these photos of my mom, of my sister and I when we were little, of growing up, of memories. Like I am bawling like a bitch. And he comes in the door and starts making fun of me for crying. Granted, my mom hasn't even been gone 2 months at this point. Starts making fun of me for crying. And then makes a comment because my mom was single when she passed away. Well, after she got divorced from my dad, she only dated like one person. And then she was single for like 10 years when she passed away. And so then he made a comment. I'm telling you guys this for a reason. Okay, so please don't take this as, oh, poor Bodhi. That's not what I'm telling you. Because I want to instill something in you, okay? He made a comment about how, my mom died old and fat and alone and blah, blah, blah. And then over the course of the next 5 years, I heard that continually, that if I left him, I would die old and fat and alone, just like my mom did. That no one would ever want me and blah, blah, blah. All that stupid shit. Y'all know exactly what I'm saying. So whenever I did decide to get divorced, whenever I did decide I was done, that played in my head a lot. And so I remembered growing up and my dad saying, if there's something that you fear, meet it head on. Run straight at it. So I thought, you know what? Okay. I am terrified to be by myself because I had been married for 15 years at that point, almost 15 years. And it had been so long since I had been alone that I wasn't sure I could do it. I was really scared of breaking and going back. So I made myself be single for a year. I made myself. Now, I did date. I was on all the dating apps. I was swiping every which fucking way. I was going to dinner. I was going to concerts. I was doing all the things, right? But I did not commit to anybody because I knew that I needed to be okay with myself and that I was fucked up. Therapy and being alone. I made myself be alone. I've dated a couple of people since then, but I spent a year by myself. And then after dating somebody for about a year, I spent another year and a half-ish or more by myself. And this time, after breaking up with the person that I was dating last year, I've been single since February. And I'm fine with that. And I realized today, it's really funny that this come up. I realized today that in being terrified of being alone, we settle. We settle. In being terrified of being alone, we end up with people who they do not have our best interests in mind. Because we're so scared to be alone, to die old and fat and alone, that we settle for someone that is not worthy of who we are. They might love the outside. And this is something that as a creator, and I don't consider myself a large scale creator. It's weird. I don't know. I don't consider myself to be any better than anybody else. But I've had a lot of people come out of the woodwork and try to date me or hang out with me or whatever, just so I will mention them on here or so I'll give them a boost or whatever. No, ma'am. I'm not doing that shit. You can fuck all the way off with that. I busted my ass to get here. I busted my ass to stay single, and I will continue to do that. It's addicting. It's addicting. And then you hit a point where you start looking at dating, and I'm going to put that in air quotes, in a different light. Whereas at first, when you were all worried about this right here, you were swiping all over the place. People that maybe you normally wouldn't swipe on because they weren't, like your normal type, or they weren't really as cute as you normally would date, or, even in their profile, they just sounded like an ass, but they were kind of cute. You were swiping on all these people, right? You hit a point, which I feel like is where you are right now, Stephanie, that you're realizing this is not the end all be all. It's not the end all be all. You start to look at other people and dating and relationships in the fact of, are you good enough for me, and am I good enough for you? And I want you to really think about that, because it sounds really simple, and it is, but it's also really hard to answer that question. You have to spend time getting to know somebody before you know if they're good enough and if you're good enough. Are you okay in here? Are you emotionally available? Or are you still grieving the loss of another relationship? Are you caught up in work? Are you focused on something else? Are you emotionally available for that person? Are you able to be the person that person deserves you to be? Are they emotionally available? And are they able to be the person that you need them to be? It's not settling for someone that isn't good enough, or settling for someone that you're not good enough for, that you're not ready for. The reason I said all of that is because I know that this has been a thing lately. Whenever the world changes, when the world shifts, whatever, we start to worry about facing things by ourselves. Steph, it's okay to face things by yourself. It's okay to face things by yourself. Don't give somebody else power over you because you're so worried about being alone. This is the Ask Body and the Get Wild card. And notice the animalistic aspect of both of these. And I have a feeling other people need to hear what I'm about to say too. It's okay to be a fucking lioness. It's okay to be audacious. It's okay to be eclectic, to be weird, to be nerdy, to be odd, to be not the norm. It's okay for you to take care of yourself without any end goal aside from taking care of yourself. My kid made the comment, or makes the comment sometimes. She hasn't in a while, but she used to say, well, I don't understand why you wear all that makeup just so men like it or whatever. No, I like it. I like it. When I see all of these women on TikTok, and this is your prerogative, so please don't take this as me saying anything bad, but I see all the women that are like, oh, well, I'm not going to wear makeup anymore. Or I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. I understand that. I really, really do. But I'm going to still wear it because I like it. I like looking like Bodie instead of looking like 12-year-old Diane from the First Baptist Church. I just look so different without makeup, and I don't like it. I wear this for me. My hair is blue for me. My head is shaved for me. And God forbid you tell me I look prettier without it shaved. I will shave that fucking bitch to the skin all over again. Steph, do the things for you that you want to do. If you want to dress like a fucking crazy lady, like the queen of the hippie dumpster fire, fucking do it. And if people want to stare, let them. Because you know what? They're going to see that you have the audacity to wear the thing, to have the shaved head, to have the multicolored hair, to be tattooed all the fuck up. The reason that they make comments is because they're sad that they can't do the same fucking thing, because they're so stuck in whatever mental prison they're in. Steph, do the things. Be audacious. Be out there. Be eclectic. Be a badass. And don't stress about having to be something else for someone else. Okay? All right, Miss Maribeth. I have Mary, Lisa, and Jennifer that all I'm just pulling one card for. All right, Miss Maribeth, you ready? Oh, the surrender card. Whatever your question is, whatever's going on in your life right now, Miss Maribeth, yeah, you have to do it. Yes, you have to do it. You have to let go of whatever this notion is that either you can't do it, you won't do it, etc. It is a part of you moving forward. And if you don't do it, it will continue to hold you back. All right, Miss Lesa. You feel very called out. I'm sorry. I hope in a good way. All right, Miss Lesa, ready? Oh. The Seeker. What this tells me, Miss Lesa, is that you are in the process of seeking something that you don't even know what the answer is. You have this weird itch, this weird drive, this weird feeling in the pit of your stomach that you can't shake. You don't know what it is that you're seeking. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. If you don't know what it is you're seeking, you can walk down every path. If you don't know all, I'm so glad, Stephanie. If you don't know what it is you're seeking, then it gives you way more freedom to explore all of the paths. So I want you guys to think about that too, because apparently Lesa isn't the only one that needs to hear this. You can seek something and not know what the fuck it is you seek. You can need to find out stuff and not really know what it is you need to find out. You can have this itch to learn every single fucking thing you can and go learn every single fucking thing you can. The cool thing about not knowing, the cool thing about not having something set in stone that this is where you're going, you can take any fucking path you want. You can take any path you want. That is ultimate freedom. All right, Jennifer, you ready? Ooh, 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 the shadow card. The shadow card. It's so funny that this popped up because I was actually listening to a TED Talk about Jungian psychology and shadow work earlier. And so it's interesting that this popped up. Yeah, you got to do the shadow work, Jennifer. Yeah, you got to do the kind of deep dive. Yeah, you really got to face some hard truths about yourself, where you've been, where you're going, why you're going there, why you've been where you've been. You've really, really got to, you've got to do the shadow work. So the thing about shadow work is this. Shadow work is not meant to be something that you do once and you're good. Shadow work is not meant to be you saying, oh, you know, I guess I really am kind of selfish. Haha. And then walking. That's not shadow work. Shadow work is not easy. Shadow work, I love you right back. Shadow work is something that is really fucking hard. And it will break you. It will. It's part of it. Shadow work is acknowledging the really horrible parts of you and bringing them into the light. Shadow work is being able to see those parts of you so they can be integrated into your whole self, to make you your whole self instead of the light part that you show everybody and the dark part down here. If you guys are not familiar with shadow work, this keeps coming up, so it may be time for me to do some free shadow work classes again. If y'all are not familiar with shadow work, it is not something founded on TikTok. It is not something that someone here on TikTok invented. It actually was invented in the 1960s, or the term shadow work was coined in the 1960s by Carl Jung, and it's Jung. He was a very famous psychologist, and I would highly recommend delving down that rabbit hole. I'm just saying. So that is my reads from Saturday night. Let me go ahead and check all these people in. So if you had a read for Saturday, that's what I just went through. And so now we'll move on to the reads for tonight. There we are. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with my life right now. Okay. There aren't a crazy amount of things. Miss Sadie, did you know you had 2 reads? Okay, for you and for Nikki. Okay. I was like, okay. So there aren't a crazy amount of ones open this evening. So if you guys grab one, you better grab one now. And then after I do these, I am going to turn it over to subscriber only. And we're going to... we're going to do some scheduling. We're going to do some scheduling. I'm going to let y'all help me. Okay? All right. So, why are you being a bitch? Well, Miss Sadie, you and Nikki are first. All right. So if you guys have never watched me do channeled reads, the reason that I shuffle the cards and so on is to occupy my hands and my brain. So Sadie, let me say this before I start your read. It is okay for you to light your own torch. It is okay for you to make your own torch. It is okay for you not to follow anybody else's light. It's okay for you to walk along a path that is completely and utterly different than anything you ever have thought you would be on. I say that because the very first thing I see with you is you standing in the middle of something. It almost looks like a wheel, and there are spokes that go everywhere. And you're supposed to pick one of these spokes. Something is telling you that you only can pick one, that you have to go in this direction. This is the way that you get where you want to go. But you know what? Are you sure you want to go that way? Are you sure you want to go that way? And I say that because while that is a huge, wonderful, open path, it's well lit, it's fantastic. There's a Robert Frost poem that I love that talks about the road less traveled. The pathways that are wide open, that have the paved roads and all the lights along them, they are that way because everybody takes that path. They're that way because everybody takes that path. So before you step down that path, Sadie, before you decide that this is where you want to go, I want you to ask yourself, is that really what you want? Is that really what you want? Because I don't think it is. Because I don't think it is. And if it's not really what you want, don't take that road. Just because that road is well lit and well traveled, it doesn't mean it's the right road. It doesn't mean it's the right road. Some of the roads that are kind of jutting out behind you and to the side over there, they're smaller, they're darker, they might just be barely a little path in the grass. Those are going to be the roads that lead you where you really want to go. Because I think that you following the road everybody else follows is going to make you miserable. Is going to make you absolutely miserable. Take the road less traveled. And if you are not familiar with that poem, you know, I'm just gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up because I think that other people need to hear it. This is one of my dad's favorite poems, and I grew up hearing this poem. He knew it by heart. And this was written in 1916 by Robert Frost, okay? And I just want you guys to listen for a minute. And if you get something out of it, then you get something out of it. And if not, you learn something. It's called The Road Not Taken. It's by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and I looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, passing there had worn really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Don't take that shiny gold road, Sadie. Okay? Now, you can't make that shit up. This card fell out first when I started reading for you, and it fell out again just now. Just saying. Just saying. All right. I hope that made sense, Sadie. I know that you taking a different road means that it means a complete upheaval. It means a complete change. It means out of your safety zone, out of your safety net. And that's okay. All right. Ready for Nikki? Very first thing that came to my mind to tell you was run. Run. Allow yourself to run in a panic. Allow yourself to bolt through the woods. Allow yourself to run from the unseen thing that you fear. Because here's the thing, and I know that normally I say face your fears head on, but in this moment, your fear is actually running. Run. In running, in facing that fear of leaving something behind, not only are you going to see and find yourself in places that are brand new, places that you never knew existed, you're also going to be able to see the stars more clearly. You're going to be able to find paths upon paths upon paths that you never dreamed existed. Run. You know, when you're a little kid and you play that game that, you know, you don't want any car coming down the road to see you, so you hide behind the house or behind the car or whatever, and like if they see you, then, you know, whatever. That feeling of almost a panic, kind of a panic, because you really don't want that person to see you driving down the road. But at the same time, you know that you're kind of playing, but you also in the back of your mind wonder if you're not playing this game so you can be prepared to run when you really need to run. When you just allow yourself to run freely, without any direction, without any specific goal. I'm going to run 5 miles. I'm going to run 30 seconds. That's me. I'm going to run 30 seconds. Without any goal in mind, you're going to find yourself in some places that not only did you never know existed, but you're going to find yourself in exactly the place that you need to be. Does that make sense? Because one of the things, so Sass usually travels with me everywhere, like big events and things like that. And one of the things we started doing this in January when we went to Tucson, and we've been doing it ever since, and it's been awesome, is because part of me, well, her too, because we're both earth signs, like we need to know where we're going. Like I need to know that I've got a hotel room here, or, you know, that I've got a plan, that I've got a path or whatever. But we started doing this thing called just free falling of, I'm not going to book a hotel room in advance. We're just going to hope we can find one when we get where we're getting. Because we have found a couple of insane, badass national parks, national monuments, things like that, out in the middle of like nowhere. Like nowhere. In fact, there was one that we ended up at that was closed because of the weather. And we were the only people there. And then it started snowing, and I was like, we need to leave. We need to leave. But it was majestic and it was fantastic. And we've come across some of the most interesting, weird little shops and places and overlooks, and just running without an end goal in mind. That's exactly what you need to do, Nikki, honey. All right, Miss Christy K. I love that roll the dice trips. A lot of times my trip is planned where like I have to be at a certain place at a certain time, but we've gotten to where we'll leave 2 or 3 days early. Maybe it takes, 10 hours to drive somewhere, and you could easily make that in a day, but why? Why? What if you stayed somewhere halfway and you checked some awesome crazy places? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. All right, Christy K. Oh, honey, you've got to breathe. First of all, your anxiety is through the roof. Second of all, you aren't sleeping super great. Third of all, you're doing things backwards and you don't understand why you're doing them backwards, and it's pissing you off, which is adding to your anxiety. Okay. I understand that on a deep level. For some reason, I wanted to say something about a frog, and then as soon as I started to form my wordy words about the frog, I got the image of this weird pink squishmallow teddy bear. I don't know what it is, but it's really like fat and round, and it's got a red, like a maroon tummy and maroon eyes. I don't know what the fuck that is, or if you know what the fuck that is, but like it's very, very specific. Oh, okay. So yours is more of a... whoever the frog represents to you. Okay. Do you want to know why your anxiety has been through the roof? Do you want to know why you're doing things backwards without realizing what the fuck you're doing until it's too late? You've been channeling a lot. You've been channeling a lot. I don't think that it's full on... I don't think that it's full on like mediumship where you're hearing people, where you're seeing things, where you're knowing things. You're just channeling information a lot. This is why you're not sleeping very well, because there's nothing that's shielding you from it when you're asleep. And when you're asleep, you're more wide open. So the information has been like, instead of just a trickle, during the day, well, yours isn't really a trickle. Yours is like a pretty straight stream. So instead of you being able to control that stream during the day, it's like a fucking tidal wave at night. It is a waterfall and you can't control it. You're going to have to do something different to get a good night's sleep. Until you, I wish I could say, go do XYZ and this will help you curb it at night, but everyone's different. And unfortunately, about the time you find something that works, your brain, your abilities shift and then they don't work anymore. And normally I don't ever recommend something like this, but here's what I'm going to recommend. You need to find a way to knock yourself the fuck out to get at least one solid good night's sleep a week. I don't care if it's like Tylenol PM or whatever. You need to do something that is going to knock you the fuck out. Okay? That's going to knock you the fuck out. Because if you don't, here's the problem. It's fantastic to channel, and it's fantastic to have all that information hit you and to be able to know things and do things. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But if you cannot get one good full night's sleep with this, it will overwhelm you and you're going to start to get super ill. You're going to start to have a lot of physical symptoms, and I wouldn't be surprised to know if you haven't already started to have physical symptoms. So I am going to recommend doing something over the counter that will knock you the fuck out, and at least let you get one good full night's sleep a week. The other thing is this: when it comes to channeling and realizing that you're doing things backwards, it's okay. Just do them backwards. It's okay. There's a reason that your brain is making you do things backwards. when it comes to channeling and when it comes to information, here's my suggestion. Record everything that you can. Record everything that you can. Your voice text on your phone, like recording a note with voice text or actually recording a voice memo, whatever, is going to be fantastic. The reason that I say to do the voice memo, the voice text, is because then you can see it. So you can go back and see it. The voice memos, excuse me, that are just your voice, then you have to go back and listen to it. Does that make sense? Start recording everything. There's a reason that something has shifted in here and that you're suddenly channeling this information. There's a big, intense reason. And you know what? I know that you probably feel crazy most of the day. Like, what the fuck? Why do I know this? Why do I have to know this? That's my favorite one, is why do I need to know this shit? And you know what? You may never ever get to share that information with who it's meant for or with anybody, but write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Learning how to channel on purpose, learning how to channel a set stream of information, it is like trying to funnel a waterfall, and it can be hard and it can be overwhelming. And I am going to recommend that if you haven't already started doing something like Qigong or yoga. Qigong is my favorite because yoga sometimes lets you know how badly out of shape you are. And it can be hard to truly focus when you're trying to make sure you're getting a yoga position right. What I love about Qigong, and this is spelled Q-I, and then the next word is G-O-N-G, Qigong, is that it's more of a fluid movement. You kind of can't do it wrong. There are specific moves and things you do, and there's all kinds of great videos on YouTube, but it's more about the fluidity of the movement. And you can do it sitting down, you can do it standing up, whatever. It is a technique that's used by a lot of Buddhist monks and a lot of people that channel to be able to, A, move the energy around and focus it. By being able to focus the energy, you can focus the waterfall into the funnel, and it's a lot easier. But get a good night's sleep. Get a good night's sleep before you do anything else. Well, one of my mods put that in a pin that, so there are some amazing how-tos and routines on YouTube. And that's what I'd recommend. But get yourself a good night's sleep. Get yourself a good night's sleep. That is one of the things that's keeping you from channeling on purpose. I hope that made sense. All right, Miss Elizabeth Miller and Miss Shonda, y'all round out my first 5. All right, Miss Elizabeth. There are so many things besides pink roses. There are so many other flowers out there. There are so many other colors. There are so many other shapes and sizes and smells, and you need to take a trip to a flower shop. Not one in Walmart, not an end cap display of roses that are dying. You need to take a trip to a flower shop or a greenhouse or a botanical garden and literally just walk around. Don't go with the intention of buying anything. Just Go walk around. Sometimes we get it in our head that the only thing are pink roses. That's it. Pink roses. And we forget that there's other things out there. And so we start to open our mind and we're like, oh, okay, well, there's red roses and there's white roses and there's yellow roses and there's orange roses. And then we have to force ourselves to realize that there are other flowers out there. There are lilies. So we delve down that hole. There are carnations. There are chrysanthemums. There are irises. There are canna lilies. We forget that there are so many different types of other flowers out there because we're stuck on that one, just the pink roses. That's it, pink roses. When in reality, we're so burnt out on pink roses that when you find the perfect pink rose, you still can't appreciate it because it's the same exact thing that you've always had on your counter in your office. So when you really start looking at the other types of flowers and you start appreciating it and you start looking at them for what they are, and you smell how exotic lotus smells, you smell how fantastic lilies smell and how gross some other flowers smell, you start to get this appreciation for all of them. Not just one. Not just one type, not just one color. And the thing is, when you delve down the rabbit hole of all of the other types of flowers that are out there, and you start to get obsessed with this one or that one, it opens up your life in a lot of different ways. Every single flower has a different spiritual meaning, and every color has a different spiritual meaning. And when you open up and you look at every one of those, you start to realize that maybe it wasn't the pink roses that you wanted all along. Maybe you just didn't know because you had been kind of kept in a little box to think that those pink roses were the only things that existed. So your homework is to take yourself to a flower shop, to a greenhouse, somewhere that has a ton of different types of flowers and plants, and just walk around. Just walk around and just be. Okay? I hope that made sense, Miss Elizabeth. And in case no one's told you today, I'm proud of you. Good, I'm glad. I'm glad that made sense. All right, Miss Shonda, you ready? Why do I feel like the first thing I need to say to you, Shonda, is get rid of that fucking couch? Literally, as I'm like trying to channel your energy, the first thing I hear is get rid of that fucking couch. Okay. Empty the room. You know that thing you've been looking for? You know that, it's so funny. I keep wanting to say the thing you've been looking for. Empty the room. Now, you might find the thing when you empty the room. And you might not. And that's fine. Empty the room with the idea, with the goal of finding the thing. But when the room is empty, I want you to just appreciate the room. I want you to appreciate the size of the room, the height of the ceiling, how open the floor is. I want you to appreciate how many windows there are, or the lack of windows. I want you to just look at the room as a space, as an open space. And I want you to just stand there in the middle of the room for a minute. And just breathe. And then as you're putting the things back into the room, I want you to look at how many of those things you no longer need. Because when you're standing in the middle of the room, when you're standing in the middle of the empty floor, you start to realize how sometimes we get so caught up with things that things get jumbled, and we don't realize it until we lose something in that room and can't find it. And when you lose something and you can't find it, it's frustrating as fuck. Not only is it frustrating as fuck, but it starts to weigh on you emotionally. It starts to weigh on you mentally. It starts to weigh on you in a way that you didn't realize it was weighing on you. So, empty the room. Get rid of the fucking couch. Stand in the middle of that floor and just breathe for a minute. Just breathe for a minute. Good. I'm glad that you understand what I'm saying. I'm glad you understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be cryptic with this one. That's the way it's coming out. Because I think that that need that, well, it's more down here, isn't it? That need that you have lately, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you don't know what the need is. And I think you're starting to stress about it. I think you're starting to stress about what this need is and what the universe is trying to get you to do. And I think the only way that you're going to find it is by emptying the room. Does that make sense, my friend? Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. All right, Miss Eunice is next. So here is my who I have left on my list for this evening. You are so welcome, love. I have Miss Eunice. I have Candace D. I have boom, 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 boom. Nicole C, Morgan H. Hey, Morgan. Lesley B, Phoenix, Dovie, Tisha M, and Ashley J. And if y'all got on my list tonight, awesome. And if you didn't get on my list tonight, no worries. After I finish with these reads, I'm going to turn it on subscriber only, and you guys are going to get to help me plan out what kind of reads you would like me to do over the next couple of weeks. All right, Miss Eunice. It's so funny that as soon as I started channeling the information for yours, I started seeing spiders. And then I thought, you know what? I feel like Eunice doesn't really care for spiders. And maybe you shouldn't be like embrace the spiders, because that's not quite the message. The message is more, have a healthy respect for the spiders, but know when they need to be fucking squashed. Spiders do an amazing amount of work around your house, around your property, around your life, getting rid of things that can make you really, really super ill, getting rid of things that can really cause a lot of problems. But at the same time, sometimes they need to die a horrible squishy death because they don't want to listen and stay in their own area. But there is the unique ability to live among the spiders and to be comfortable with them, to understand them, to understand why they do the things that they do. The same thing goes for people. We all know people that are like spiders. We all know that there are some spiders that are harmless. And we all know that there are some spiders that are horrendous. And we all know that there are some spiders that they can fucking kill you. I know you guys can't really, you can probably see it more tonight. I've actually got, there you go. You can see it pretty good. See that mark on my forehead right there? That is a brown recluse bite. Yeah, that was fun. Like 10 out of 10, don't recommend. But those types of spiders probably need to meet a squishy end. Other types of spiders, sometimes we just need to watch them. Sometimes we just need to watch them. And sometimes they can just be what they are. It's so funny. Some of the weirdest looking spiders that get pretty good size are daddy longlegs. I love me some daddy longlegs. My dad's family is from Longview, Texas, and that area, and up around Tahlequah, Oklahoma. And if y'all have never seen some of the daddy longlegs that are in northeastern Texas, those bitches are neon red orange. I don't know what the fuck they're eating down there to make them that color, but they're like neon red orange. And we always kind of played with them as a kid. I don't know why. I hate spiders, but I don't have a problem with daddy longlegs. And when I was an adult, I found out that daddy longlegs are some of the most poisonous spiders that there are. They are very poisonous, but their mouths are so small that they cannot bite you. And even though I know that they're poisonous, and even though I know that they can't bite you, I still like them. Sometimes we have to be able to live with certain spiders and understand them and know them and understand why they do the things that they do, so we can know when to squash the ones that don't need to be in our space. You can't make this shit up. This is the destruction card. You can't make this shit up. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Eunice? Dude, wolf spiders creep me out. A long time ago, I think Kirsten was 1. No, she wasn't even 1. We moved into this house. Good, I'm glad it made sense. We moved into this house, and we'd only been there like 2 or 3 days. And I was raising the blinds in one of the rooms, and there was this little gray fucking furry jumping spider, right? And I don't like spiders, so I might have screamed. And when I did, it raised its 2 little front feet at me. And I was like, motherfucker, did you just threaten me? So I'm having this full-on conversation with this fucking spider, not knowing that, like, Dennis and one of the boys were standing behind me, and they were trying not to laugh out loud. But every time I would go to raise the shades or move, its feet would go up. And I was like, look, bitch, if you're going to jump at me, jump at me. But I was having a whole conversation with this little fucking spider. I ended up just leaving the shades where they were. I left him where he was, and we went on about our business. I went in the other room. But I told him he needed to vacate the fucking property. Like, he wasn't allowed to live there anymore because I was not cool with a spider. I don't know if that was a spider flip-off. I don't know if he was threatening me. I don't know. He looked like fucking Cornholio. You know, I need TP for my bunghole. Are you threatening me? I don't know. So, yeah. Yeah. All right, Miss Candace. You ready? You need to do a complete cleanse of yourself and your space. And here's what I'm going to recommend. 1, you need to start with a cleansing of yourself. Start with an egg cleanse. Do a ritual bath. If you have a bathtub, do a ritual bath. If not, do a ritual shower. And you need to make this as magical and as ornate as possible. Period. You need to give it 30, 45 minutes. Like, there's no time limit on it. You need a ritual bath, a ritual cleansing of yourself. Do the egg cleanse, do the bath. Don't dump the egg until after you're out of the bath. And then do a ritual cleanse of your space. And I don't care what it is you use for this cleanse. Use whatever you feel you need to use. Use something you already have in your house. Make yourself a salt mix for your doors, for your windows, etc. Cleanse the space, cleanse the energy, etc. Because, and here, wait, not because. Here's my other recommendation that needs to happen too. Get yourself a jar. You need a jar, a pretty good size jar, whether it's a pickle jar, mason jar, whatever. It needs to go in the very center of your house. Open that jar, put some salt and some pepper, just a layer in the bottom of it. Then do the egg, then do the ritual bath, then cleanse your house. And when you're done, whatever is left over of either the sage bundle, the incense, whatever it is that you use, it needs to go in that jar, and that jar needs to go as far away from your house as possible. This is to pull whatever the negative bullshit that has been sent your way, put it in that fucking jar and get it gone. It is also to help you transmute all of this energy that's been sent your way into something else. Transmuting the energy that's been sent your way into something else is actually not as hard as everybody thinks that it is or thinks that it should be. It can actually be really, really fucking easy. It's just doing it. We get so bogged down in the weight of the energy. We get so bogged down in the pressure. We get so bogged down in the stress of, well, did somebody send me something bad? Did they hex me? Did they curse me? Did they whatever? We get so bogged down in that we forget that it's energy. And you can transmute that shit. And by transmuting that shit, you can turn that A, right around on them, and B, you can use it to your advantage. So you need to do a complete ritual cleanse of yourself, of your space, of your home, and then that needs to go as far fucking away as possible from your house, from your space. One of the things that you need to put in that jar before you get it out of there, the reason I said a ritual bath is this. You need to keep a little bit of that bath water, and a little bit of that bath water, just a cup or so, goes in the jar. Okay? It goes in the jar and far away. Dedicate that time to just you. Dedicate that time to it being a magical thing just for you. Thank you for all of those gifts, Brent. I appreciate it. That makes sense, Candace? Thank you, Miss Lori. Thank you, Miss Anna. All right, Miss Nicole C, are you ready? Thank you for all of the cranes. Thank you, guys. Can I please write those cleansing recipes? 100%. Let me make myself a note. Let me make myself a note, because I was thinking about that. All right, gotta know. I got you guys. I actually have the house to myself this evening, so I'll get that filmed and get it out to you. All right. Miss Nicole C. All you see are the basic blowing cinnamon in your jar. Now, let me say this. When the cinnamon thing first started to become a thing, my initial reaction was, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. But modern paganism is not the paganism that was practiced hundreds or thousands of years ago. We, just like any religion, it evolves with the times. It evolves with the place that you're in, the area that you're in, the things that you have access to. And while I don't blow cinnamon in my door, I do something else that my family has done forever. I don't want you guys to poo-poo some of these new ideas and new traditions just because they're a new thing, okay? Don't poo-poo those things. You know what I mean? Just saying. All right. Nicole. Oh, you're crooked. You are walking like you haven't had your V8 today. You feel like everything is askew, that nothing is standing up straight like it's supposed to be. And my advice to you, you ready? Is going to be to sit down and watch Maleficent. Not because she's my favorite Disney villain. Not because of anything beyond the message in that movie. The first one. Now, I'm going to pause for a minute in Nicole's reading and say this. My kid and I watched the second one. Y'all, that second movie is fucked all the way up. That is fucked all the way up. If y'all haven't seen the second Maleficent, I was traumatized. It beat me up. I was traumatized. I'm just saying. My nose is itching. Somebody talking about me. The reason that you feel all whopper jawed, the reason that you feel crooked, and when I say crooked, I mean like walking crooked. The reason that you feel like things aren't what they are supposed to be right now, Nicole, is because you're right. When you sit down and you watch, and I'm serious, sit down and watch the first Maleficent and just appreciate it. The reason that you feel crooked is because you are. And that's exactly what you're supposed to be. there's only a very minuscule amount of people that are straight up and down, that are this perfect, wonderful piece of wood that makes the most gorgeous staff you've ever seen. But do you really want that staff? Do you really want that straight up and down, perfect, straight piece of wood? Or do you want the crazy cool gnarled one with all the branches all around it? The crazy cool one that has the termites that have eaten designs into it. The one with all the cool knots and the hidey holes and the little spooky little face looking things in it. Do you really want the plain straight up and down one? It might be beautiful. It might be perfect. It might be gorgeous. It might be absolutely 100% straight. But do you really want that? Do you really want that one? Some people do. But Nicole, that's not going to make you happy. That perfect straight line is not going to make you happy. And the more you strive for that perfect straight staff, the further away you're going to get. I have a couple of staffs, handmade ones. I'm always drawn to the crazy ones. I'm always drawn to the ones that are gnarled and pocked, and I'm just saying. Don't stress about being this super straight staff, Nicole. Be crooked. Be gnarled. Have the cool little knots and termite things on it. Designs. Just saying. I'm just saying. All right, Miss Morgan. Why I felt the need to talk about staffs with you, I don't know. But enjoy sitting down and taking a break and watching Maleficent. And if anybody wants to question why you are not doing something, or why you are sitting down to watch a Disney movie, you can say that your spiritual advisor recommended it, that is your homework. All right, Ms. Morgan. Ms. Morgan, as soon as I started channeling yours, I heard sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I don't know why, but that's what I heard. I do know why. Okay. Because I know your situation and the staff is personal to you. I have no idea. Well, good. I'm glad. I love that you have the little mind blown thing there. I do know what you're going through, Morgan, and what you've been through over the last couple years and so on, while I've been reading for you and while you've been following me and so on. It's just words. It's just words. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to need you to channel your wicked, evil Morgan here, because they are just words. Knowing that they're just words takes all of the validity out of them. Knowing that they're just words takes all of the oomph out of it, because it's no longer an action. But you're going to have to pretend on the outside that you believe it's an action, and you're going to have to pretend on the outside that you're terrified, utterly terrified inside, and that it's just going to completely break everything about you by knowing that these are just words, and they're never going to be anything more than words. Sometimes the threat itself is the threat. But we still have to take the threat seriously to be able to so somebody doesn't call your bluff. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Does that make sense? You know those times when someone tells you, oh, you can't do that, and every fiber of your being then finds a way to do that thing to prove that motherfucker wrong? That's exactly what this is. Even though they are just words, and even though they are empty threats, they still need to be taken and pretended like they are an actual threat. Like it's an actual thing that's going to happen, and it scares the fuck out of you. Even though you know that's never going to come to fruition. Because by treating it in any other way, it is going to be a, you won't do that. And then it will become a thing. So, I'm going to need you to channel the evil, wicked, manipulative Morgan that you are not. And play that game for just a little bit. For just a little bit. You're welcome, Morgan. I'm glad that that made sense. I might add a few more on. I could probably be persuaded to add a couple more on. Miss Lesley, are you ready? I'll tell you what. I've been cutting my list down because I would rather do that and not be absolutely exhausted, you know, or something happened and I have to stop. But yeah, I added 5 more. So if you want one, grab one. Let me fix my list again because I just fucked it all. Okay, there we go. All right, Miss Lesley. Miss Lesley, when I started channeling yours, I saw this gorgeous, antique, white wedding dress, like just hanging, suspended in space. It's just suspended there. It's just hanging there. And I'm not sure what the meaning of that. I'm not sure what the meaning of that is to you. Because I don't take it as you need to get married. I don't take it as anything like that. It's just there. So I don't know if this represents somebody. If this represents something. I don't know. You are so overwhelmed right now. Okay. It's funny because I saw the dress and then there was a lull and then I saw the ocean and these gorgeous waves with a storm rolling in and then there was a lull. So it's like, here's a thing and now calm, and here's a thing and now calm, and here's a thing and now calm. You are so overwhelmed. You, in my opinion, you need to put yourself on a timer. Okay? 20, 30 minutes. This is like you're on your day off or whatever. 20, 30 minutes of cleaning, laundry, whatever. And then 20 or 30 minutes of just sitting there. I don't care if it's watching TV. I don't care if it's playing on your phone. I don't care if it's sitting outside. I don't care what it is, but it is not working. It's not cleaning. It's not serving anybody else. It's not doing a goddamn thing. It is you sitting. Okay? It is you sitting. The reason I say that is because there's something intensely personal that wedding dress represents that's weighing on you like a ton of absolute, I mean, it's a ton of steel. It's not even a ton of bricks. It's a ton of steel. And then there is something else turmoil-wise that you feel is on the horizon, which is the ocean and the storm that is coming in. And right now you're able to keep that storm at bay, but it's getting harder and harder and harder for you to keep the storm at bay. And I think that you know that it's getting harder to keep that storm at bay. And that storm represents some type of massive, major change that you aren't prepared for, you aren't ready for. And it's weighing on you really heavily. So I don't know if this storm is you leaving a relationship or a job or walking away from somebody that's very personal to you, but that's what every single bit of this is screaming to me, that there is someone that you know you have to walk away from, and it's killing you. Miss Lesley, the thing about this is that the reason I said do that 20-30 minutes and then do nothing for 20-30 minutes, do 20-30 minutes, do nothing for 20-30 minutes, is because you've got to have some time to work through this and process through this while you're doing the normal things. This has got you on a tightrope in a way, and you've been pushing yourself on this tightrope for so long. I don't feel like you're going to fall off the tightrope, but every now and then you got to give your legs a break. You got to give your legs a break. You can't just stay on the tightrope forever. So sit down and take a break, okay? Sit down and relax. Sit down and chill out. Sit down and just don't think. Don't do anything. Just fucking mindlessly watch TV. Mindlessly play on your phone. Whatever it is you need to do. Okay? Good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Miss Lesley. Thank you for the chicken. I'm glad. Oh, did those 5 sell out really quick? Thank you, BB. All right, Phoenix, you ready? Ooh, you are on guard. Okay. I'm sorry you kind of had a rough day. Those walls are up. Phoenix, are you here? I have questions. Because the very first thing I saw was these like old school castle walls. I was like, okay, your guard is up. I got it. Okay. Your guard isn't up because, you know, against me, because, you know, you knew you were getting a reading from me. It's not, you know, but it's crazy. It's like you just in the last few days, you have built these crazy castle walls. You have built a moat. You've stocked it with fucking insane mutant alligators. Like, you have shored up the castle. Like, nobody is getting in. And let me just say this, because this is a weird thing to fucking say, but I don't know who you know that has been doing dream research and energy research that is out of the norm for them. They do have nefarious purposes with it. They do have nefarious purposes with it. They aren't just learning this because they think it's cool and they're really wanting to dive down this rabbit hole like they're telling you. They have nefarious purposes. You are 100% correct in shoring up all of your defenses, and my advice is going to be to continue to put defenses upon defenses upon defenses and stack some offense in there as well. You're going through a split up, am I right? Okay. I don't feel like this is him doing this because this is a feminine energy. It's a female energy. But it is somebody that's tied in with this. Whether this is someone he's hired, whether this is someone he's speaking to, whether this is a sister, a family member, whatever. Whoever this is, I think they already dabble in some of this, but they are what I would call... I literally would probably call them a fake practitioner. They're the ones that they buy the stuff at Earthbound at the mall because it's cool. You know, they have crystals in their house because it's cool. They have macrame in their house because it's cool. Like that's the kind of person that this is. But there's still... It's almost like he's been bragging about your gifts and abilities. He's been either someone has been saying something bad about you, and then he's been defending you. There's a book that I'm going to recommend for you. And it's an advanced book, but I think that it would do you a lot of good. It's like 15 or 20 bucks on Amazon. Usually you can get it there within a couple of days. It's called the Ars Vercanus, Vercanus, I think. I'm going to pull it up and show you. It's 22, excuse me. Damn it. It looks like this. Some of y'all will recognize, I don't know if you can see them, some of the symbols that I have. The reason I'm going to recommend that book to you is because while I don't think that this person is an even beginner by any means, even people that are false practitioners can cause problems. And there is something specific that this person is studying and reading about to cause problems. And I would take that seriously. Even though it's not really anything, it can cause problems. the other thing I'm going to say is this. Don't mention this to the middle person. Okay? Don't mention it to the middle person. This third party is going to end up doing themselves in with the middle person, because whatever it is that this person is saying is triggering something in the middle person, who is then defending you, which is making this third party even more mad. And she's going to push it to the point that this middle person is going to completely block, shut off, etc. So then none of her energy is going to be turned on you. It will be turned on this middle person. The middle person is the one you're splitting from. The middle person is the one you're splitting from. The third party is someone that he is defending you to. So I would shore up your defenses. That book has a lot of amazing, the reason that I'm recommending that book to you is because it is energy. It's all about energy work and things like that. It is a how-to manual for a lot of things. Anything that she can and will throw at you, you will easily be able to brush off by using the techniques in that book. She will end up doing herself in with the person that's defending you very quickly. So you don't have to say or do anything about it. Does that make sense? Yeah, they will be fucking that relationship up on their own. And it is 100% going to be karma. Just saying. Oh, I love that. I love that. You have to send me a picture. Yeah, I'll have one of my mods. Now, here's the thing. I normally don't share that book. And here's why. If you are a beginner, this is not a good book for you. Because there are a lot of things in here, some of the theories that go with the energy and so on, that if you don't have a good solid foundation, if you don't have a good way of protections and things like that, then this can cause you more problems than it will help. So you need to be really honest with yourself before you order that book, that you're ready for it. And it may be that you order it, you look at it and you're like, ooh, not ready. And you just put it on the shelf for a little bit till you are. Okay? But it is a fantastic book. And especially for those of you guys that are very talented with energy work, this is a great one to help you protect yourself, protect your energy, and so on. It uses symbols that are demotic, not demonic, demotic, which is ancient Greek and ancient Egyptian together. It's the same language that the Rosetta Stone is in that allowed them to translate hieroglyphs. So it's not something that I recommend for anybody that is beginner, but it is a fantastic one if you are a little more advanced. Just saying. I love the book. It's a fantastic book. All right, Dovie, you ready? There's the Dovie. Yeah, and I know you've kind of been around for a bit, Phoenix. That's why I went ahead and recommended it for you. All right, Dovie Poo. It's so funny, when I started channeling your energy, I saw literally a white dove with the olive branch. You are doing everything you can right now to be kind and be nice to somebody that is not being nice and kind to you. And I think that you are 100% right in that. Playing the diplomatic role and being nice and being kind and being the bigger person here is what needs to happen. It is not going to change the situation. It is not going to cause this person to change or anything like that. But what it will cause is this person to go away. It will cause this person to go away. Because when they realize that they cannot get a rise out of you, when they realize that all you're going to do is continue to be diplomatic and not to bite back, they're going to move on, because they're not getting that energy from you that they need. I would probably label this person 100% as an energy vampire, and when you do not give them, when you don't feed them, they're going to get bored and go somewhere else. So continue to play the peacemaker, continue to offer the olive branch, continue to be the diplomat. Other people are noticing this, and they will continue to notice it. And that is another reason why this person will walk away, because everybody notices it. Everybody sees how they're acting. Everybody sees what they're doing. Everybody is starting to see it. So just kind of hold the line and continue to be diplomatic and continue to be strong with it. And I know it sucks. I know it sucks. But when they finally get mad and throw the towel in and walk away, it's going to be a massive sigh of relief. It's going to be a massive sigh of relief. I also feel like this has to do a lot with your money, doesn't it? Okay. Just continue to be the dove. Just continue to be that white dove. And I will let you know that when they are just about done and just about ready to walk away, it will get really bad. They will throw a fit. They will buck. They will scream and yell and be a dick, and they will do everything they can to try to get a rise out of you. Don't let them see you upset. Don't let them see you break. Don't let them see you cry. Don't let them see anything. Okay? If you've got to let the situation get over with and then walk into the other room and close the door, that is 100% what I would say. But don't let them see you. Don't let them see you break. Okay? I would say that I would give it about two and a half weeks before this happens. And it's going to be right about the time that you are tired of being the diplomat. But I promise that it will happen. Okay? I'm glad that made sense. I was like, okay. You are so welcome, sweetheart. And I'm sorry you're having to do this. And I'm sorry you're having to be the diplomat and be the bigger person and let this person continue to be a fuckbag. The wonderful thing about people like that is they usually end up finding somebody that is worse than they are. All right, Tisha, you ready? Thank you guys for all the new follows and the gifts and the likes. I appreciate it. What's up, Hippie Mama? Thank you. So funny. First thing I saw was lots of cherries, like the cartoon cherries that are on slot machines. Sometimes a little win is a big win. Sometimes we don't realize that a little bitty tiny win is a big win. We don't realize in the moment. Thank you for that. We don't realize in the moment because we think small. We think that it's something little bitty small. You just get, you know, a couple of cherries across the thing and you win 5 cents and you're like, well, fuck around. That was a little tiny thing. Sometimes that little win is still a win, because when it comes to dealing with people, it may be that there's some little thing at work that you're dealing with and you get a little win because the boss agrees with you on something and gets this other person to shut up, but the other person still gets the bigger win and they get the promotion or whatever. You may not see it right away, but it may be a year, or maybe, you know, 6 months or whatever later, and this person ends up getting fired because of the demands of that job, or they get laid off because that position is no longer needed. And even though you got that little tiny win, only a couple of cherries, and you know, the boss gave you a 10-cent raise or whatever, you still have your job and they don't. So sometimes a little win is a big win. Sometimes a little win is a big win. Sometimes that little win can sidetrack you enough to keep you safe from something else. So whatever the disappointing win is that happened lately, Tisha, you're going to see, and really I think it's probably going to be about 8 months or so down the road, you're going to see that it actually was the bigger win. I know right now it sucks and it's like you feel like you got a consolation prize. But sometimes, like I said, thank you, Brett. Sometimes the constellation prize is protection. And this is where I say the corny rejection is protection. But, and for some reason, I feel like I need to reiterate, you know, the thing that I said about the job. That sometimes, even though I keep dropping my cards, even though we really wanted that promotion, I don't know where the hell that went. Bears, I don't know where the hell that went. There it is. Even though we really wanted that promotion, we didn't get it because it wasn't ours in the first place. I see your messages that you feel like you've lost your entire world. It doesn't feel like it in the moment. It doesn't feel like it right now. But loss is a beginning. Loss is a beginning. How you handle that loss will affect the outcome. How you handle that particular loss will govern how the rest of your life goes. A lot of people, and let's talk about actually, you know, death itself. Okay. When I when I lost my mom, I had just started reading professionally. I had just started really diving into getting certifications and walking down this path as a full-time job and so on. I had just started that. And to be honest, I wasn't sure that this is what I wanted to do. I wasn't sure that I just wasn't sure. Okay. I was obviously good at it. I obviously connect with things really easy. I have a family line of it, but I wasn't sure. And when I lost my mom, I did not get the chance to grieve that loss in the moment. I didn't get a chance to sit down. I didn't get a chance to fully process emotions. And I'm telling you this way because I hope you see why I'm telling you this way. So I had to find something to do with all those emotions that were pent up in here. Because I was so angry. I was so angry. So instead of me burning the entire world, like physically with a lighter, burning the world down, I channeled that into work and learning. And those two went like this. I started going back to school, and then I started getting certifications as well. And when I say back to school, I mean like college. I started going back to college. And I started getting certifications and everything as well. I poured my anger into reading and learning and making myself better. Even though it had nothing to do with me losing my mom, even though me learning and me doing all these things would not make my piece of shit uncle change what he was doing, even though none of what I was doing over here was going to affect this, it did at the same time. Because by me channeling that anger into learning and into making myself a better person, making myself bigger and better and stronger and smarter, in the end, it did help with this tremendously because I was not ever stressed about blowing my lid. You know what I mean? I was not ever stressed about walking into court with my uncle and blowing up. I was not ever stressed about blowing up at my kids or anything just from some little bitty thing. Because that energy, that anger was channeled into this other stuff. And to other people, it looked like I was, because I got, I had a couple people tell me that, oh, you can't take your grief out by working or whatever. You can. Don't ever let anybody tell you how you can or can't be angry or how you can or can't grieve. If you don't find a way to channel that energy and that anger and that pain and everything else, then it will come out in very inopportune times and places. And I saw some of your messages. Here's what I'm going to recommend. Take a stupid class. And when I say stupid, I mean something that it's just something you've always wanted to know about. Don't stress about putting yourself back in college. Don't stress about a long-term class. Take some little hour or two class that is local where you can actually go and do that thing. Okay? Even if it's a free yoga class somewhere or a woodworking class or an AutoCAD class, whatever it is, just something that you, if you see it, you're like, oh, that looks like fun. It's $20. Let me go do that. Go do it. Go do it. And when you're there, You are not allowed to think about anything else that goes with this situation. It takes willpower. Okay? It takes willpower, and you have to make a deal with yourself before. For those of you guys that are disabled, there are tons of classes online. There is a site called Udemy, Udemy, and you can find anything on there from playing the piano to ribbon reading to, I mean, shit, you never ever thought that you would be able to do or find a class on. Some of it, my brain hurts when I look at it. I'm like, I don't know what this even is. But they have sales all the time, and their classes, you can find classes for like $10. And you can do them on your phone. Like, you can do them on your phone. Thank you, Brett. Yeah. You can do them on your phone. Take a small class that helps you channel some energy into stuff. And I know it sounds like something stupid and teeny tiny, but I promise that it's not. If you don't find something to channel that energy into, then it is going to cause a lot of problems. It is going to overwhelm you, and it's going to make you be in a standstill when you don't need to be in a standstill. I don't know if that makes sense. It doesn't matter what life deals you. It doesn't matter how you are physically, mentally, emotionally, etc. You have to channel that energy. Okay? You have to channel that energy. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I understand. I understand what you're saying. And here's my advice. For the rest of the night, for the rest of tonight, okay? I need you to fully feel every bit of everything. I need you to be angry. I need you to cry. I need you to be sad. I need you for the rest of the evening to give a voice to all of those things. Okay? To give a voice to all of those things. And by give a voice, I mean write them down. Put them on a voice recording. But I need you to give them a voice. By telling your phone that you're so fucking pissed off that you got this diagnosis, and you're so fucking angry because it's not fucking fair and you don't deserve this and it's stupid, and just letting every fucking cuss word out of your face that you can think of. And then saying, you know, and I'm so hurt because so-and-so at work did blah, 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 blah. It's not fair. I need you to give all of that a voice. I need it to physically come out of your mouth. And if it makes you cry, then you need to cry. If it makes you so mad you want to hit something, I know this is going to sound dumb, but hit the pillow on your couch. or the pillow on your bed. We're taught, I almost said as women, but men are taught this, I think even worse than women. Men are taught to hold emotions in because they have to be strong and they have to be the providers and the protectors. And women are taught to hold it in because if you're emotional, then you're just a crazy bitch and, you know, you have to be the caregiver and so on. We're taught to hold all these emotions in, and we're not ever able to give them voice. We're not ever able to give them, to talk about them, to say anything about them. By just giving it voice and just saying it, letting it come out of your face, and you hearing that come out of your face, that's a release. And a lot of times you don't even realize that you needed that release. I got this advice twice at 2 points in my life that I felt like I was at my very lowest. When I did not want to be here anymore. And I actively was planning to not be here anymore. And I got this advice from the same person both times. And it was this: you're allowed to feel all of those emotions. You're allowed to wallow in them. You're allowed to have the bad relationship. You're allowed to go drink yourself stupid. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to be just pissed off at the entire universe. But you can't stay there. You can't stay there. By giving those emotions, I'm going to yawn. By giving those emotions a voice, and by you being able to hear them, it will validate how you feel. You know what? I'm going to pause for just a minute because that kind of pissed me off. If your belief is different than mine, cool. If your a way of handling things are different than mine, cool. If your way of dealing with something is to come on and be a troll and be a fucking dick while I'm trying to help somebody, dude, I hope you have the day you fucking deserve. I hope you have the life that you deserve. I hope that every bit of this woman's pain and every bit of her emotion gets transferred to your cranky little fucking ass over there under your phone. I hope you fall asleep and your phone hits you in the fucking face. I hope you piss the bed. I hope your dog pisses on you in the bed. Fuck all the way off with that. I hope every bit of everybody's pain in this life gets channeled right into you. I hope you don't sleep right for 24 fucking years. I hope you never get a full night's sleep. I hope you feel every fucking bit of everybody's pain from now on. I don't give a fuck what your belief is. I'm literally trying to help somebody, and obviously a lot of people are needing to hear it because I'm seeing the chat. And then you want to come in and you want to say that stupidity. Man, I hope you get a sunburn on your taint every year. I hope you get skin cancer on your fucking taint, motherfucker. I hope it eats your asshole out. So you have to shit out your face. You are what's wrong with the world, sir. Can you imagine someone actually having their taint sunburnt. Miss Tisha, there's somebody for you to channel your energy into right there. That just pissed me off. Like, I was trying to ignore the little comments. And I kept seeing them. And that last one, they weren't even really hateful, but basically just undermining what I was saying. And basically like, well, I'm going to stick with God. Okay, man. Fuck off. Enjoy it. Which version of the Bible are you reading so I know which verse to tell you to read to tell you to fuck off? Fucking can't. And the destruction card comes out once again. No, I muted him so that way he could hear what I was saying. And I hope he heard every word of it. Miss Tisha, I hope that helped a little bit. I'm so glad that you liked my hairstyle, babe. Don't be copying it. It's copyrighted. And here come the trolls. Let the games begin. Good. I'm glad. All right, Miss Ashley J, you ready? Mods, you have free reign to mute. If y'all want to say stupidity, if y'all want to do any kind of stupid shit, if y'all want to do any of that stuff, just know that my mods are happy to mute your ass. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And you get muted, and you get muted, and you get muted. And the fucking destruction card again. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit. Okay. What's funny is that card in particular has a special meaning to me for... It just has a special meaning. So this is like the universe telling me over and over like, hi. Hi. So, all right. All right, Miss Ashley. Ashley, when I'm channeling your energy, why do I want pizza all of a sudden? Why do I want pizza? Did you ever play Chutes and Ladders as a kid, Ashley? You remember all those times whenever, you'd land on the ladder and you're like, yeah, I get to go up. And then you'd land on the chute and like, it would push you all the way back down. You get so fucking mad that you just wanted to like flip the fucking board. Every time you get stuck on the chute, every time you get stuck on the slide, every time you feel like you're sliding down to somewhere else that you don't want to be, I want you to remember two things. One, always wear pants. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. The slide is a mode of transportation too. Not just the ladder. The slide is a mode of transportation. And two, you can see a lot of interesting things as you go down the slide. You can see a lot of interesting things as you go down a slide. Because you don't have to be in control of steering anything. You're just sliding. You don't have to be in control of... You don't have to be in control of anything. Because once you're on the slide, you're on the fucking slide. You cannot get off the slide in the middle. You can't stop. You can't pause. You are on the slide till you're at the bottom of the slide. As adults, we think of sliding down as something bad. As adults, we think of being on a slide as a punishment. But as a kid, you used to climb the ladder to do the slide. You used to climb the ladder to ride down the slide, to slide down the slide for fun. We're taught to look at failure as a horrible thing. We're taught to look at failure as failure. We're not taught to look at failure as a learning experience. We're not taught to look at failure as us sliding down the slide to get away from whatever that pressure was up there at the top so we can move on to somewhere else. Because once you've slid down one slide, like if you don't like that slide, you don't got to climb up the fucking ladder anymore. You can go climb up another ladder and try a different slide. And if you did like that slide, you can do it all over again. So I want you to keep in mind, Ashley, that the slide, the bottom of the slide is a new starting point. Even if you fall right in the fucking mud at the bottom. I mean, people pay good money for mud baths. I'm just saying. They pay good money for it. So if you slide down the slide and you land in the mud, make the best of that too. Throw the mud everywhere. Give yourself a mud facial. Fling mud at the people coming down the slide after you. But obviously you can't stay in the mud because someone's coming down the slide after you. Enjoy every single one of those slides. And I'm going to encourage you to look back at all the different slides that you've been on over the years. And look at the ride down. Because here's the thing. We're taught that when we fall, we're taught to pick ourselves up and move on and don't pay attention to all that bad stuff. But the thing is, that slide, that fall is still part of the journey. That fall, all of the things that you lost, all of the things that you left at the top of the slide, those are all things that were a part of you. And if you didn't have those things, if you didn't lose those things, you wouldn't have that experience. So I'm going to kind of encourage you to go back and look at the last slide you were on. And then the slide before that. And then the slide before that. And then the slide before that. And that way you can see all of the amazing things that you've done, that you've lived through, that you've accomplished. I think you'll see them in a whole new light when you look at them like that. Does that make sense? Aw, I love that. The pizza comment. See, now I want pizza. I haven't really eaten much today. I have, but it's been in the forms of like peanuts and beef jerky and almonds. And all right, Miss Kimberly. So I have Kimberly, Brett, Sammie, Heidi, and Marenda. This is group order pizza, just not from Pizza Hut. kind of want Papa John's. I haven't had Papa John's in a while. Damn it. I need to not talk about pizza. That'll fuck my sugar all up. I always love doing channeled reads because y'all don't have any idea how many people might be just listening. They may be sitting outside the live and not coming in the live, so you don't even know that they're there. But you don't know who else needed to hear that. You don't know how far your ripples went. You know what's really funny? Ashley, I'm going to say this and I'm going to start reading for Kimberly. When you said the pizza reminded you of your mom and setting boundaries with her and so on, somebody saw that and they remembered that they needed to call their mom, or they remembered that they really needed to set a boundary about something their mom or somebody had said or did. So, just saying. See? Looky there. All right, Miss Kimberly, you ready? Remember, mods, it is Free Mute Sunday. Oh, I love that, Jennifer. I'm so glad that you were here and that you needed to hear that, and thank you for posting. Your mom did that. FMS, Free Mute Sunday. Kimberly, did you know that if you were to put white flowers in a vase of water and add blue food coloring, that the flowers would turn blue? Or add yellow and it would turn yellow, or pink or purple or black? Did you know that? Did you know that? Let's go ahead and do that. I went ahead and blocked that person. I went ahead and blocked him. I've been watching it for a minute. That was just to get a rise out of somebody. And you know what? I hope their whole taint falls off. I don't want them to sunburn it. I hope it falls off. Make no qualms or hide my age. I'm proud of being 48. Well, not 48 yet. I'm proud of being 47. I'm proud that I'll be 48 in a couple months. I'm proud that hopefully I'll turn 50. I'm not proud that you feel like you need to be a keyboard warrior and you feel like it's your job to come in and tear somebody down or make somebody attempt to feel bad about their age or whatever. Motherfucker, I had way too many friends die in high school. Way too many friends die in high school, including my best friend who died from a brain tumor 2 weeks before her 18th birthday. Every single day that I'm alive is something that they didn't get to enjoy. And I hope that you never ever lose anyone. There's also a lot of universes where I am not here because I died when I had meningitis when I was 19. So every single day that I'm here is a fuck you to the universe. Maybe not a fuck you, but you know what I'm saying. Every single day that I am here is a day that another me in another universe didn't get to live. So to sit and say, oh, how old are you? Oh, I'm taking bets over here. Motherfucker, take your bet and go buy yourself a piece of fucking bubble gum and shut your face. Twat. All right, Miss Kimberly. It is what it is. The reason that I said that you can put colored food dye in flowers and make them change color is because you can do the exact same thing with you. You don't have to be those white roses sitting there in a vase of water. You add whatever fucking color you want to add. Add the black, add the purple, add the blue. Add the bright red, add the green. You don't have to be a bland little plain white flower. Nothing around you has to be bland either. Nothing around you has to be plain. Nothing around you has to be normal. And if you want it normal, you can have it normal, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, I would challenge you to make everything around you as colorful as you possibly can. I would challenge you to color every single thing you can and enjoy it. Color everything, my friends. Color every single thing. Color every single thing. And if people around you don't like it because they like the plain, bland, white, plain things, let them. Let them. It's their prerogative. If they want everything whitewashed, then that's what they should have. And if you want everything bright, brilliant rainbows, then that's what you should have. And you don't have to talk to those people that like everything whitewashed. I'm just saying. Did that make sense, Miss Kim? Miss Kimberly? Before I start reading for Brett, I'm going to tell you guys, okay? Y'all see what card fell out of the deck again, right? Do y'all want to know? People ask me this all the time. Y'all want to know when a deity is poking at you? Do you guys want to know how? How many times have you seen this card fall out of this deck tonight? Because I know that it's fallen out 6 times now. 6. I'm shuffling carefully and I'm turning these cards like face down so I don't see them because I'm just using the thing, the ability of shuffling the cards to occupy my hand so I can channel better. This card has fallen out 6 times tonight while I've been reading. 6. This is the destruction card. This is how you know when a deity is poking at you. Deities will poke at you in such an interesting way that you know exactly what it is. Some of you guys only saw this happen once or twice, and some of you saw all 6 times. I saw all 6 because this card in particular represents a deity for me. So to know that this keeps coming out, I got you, madame. That is how you know a deity is poking at you. And let me tell you something else. There is going to be times in your life, in your practice, where you have specific deities that come out and they help you and then they leave. You're going to have some that they might stick with you your entire life. You have some that they may come in, they may help you, they may leave, and then they may come back and help you and then leave. But they make no qualms about when they're here. They don't sit and go, hey, if it's a good time for you, or we can talk later. No, they flip the same card out 6 fucking times. They pull themselves in front of you on purpose. So if you're wondering if a deity is poking at you because you've been noticing certain signs, they are. What's really funny is I've been thinking about this particular one today several times because I unboxed the painting that I did for her. I haven't hung it up yet. I found the flowers that I did for her, the flower arrangement that I did for her, and I thought, I need to add to that. So my ass will be making a trip to the Pagan Superstore tomorrow for her. Y'all want to know how a deity pokes at you? Like that. Like that. All right. We are going to put this card right there. All right, Brett, you ready? Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby is the Pagan Superstore. One of the first things that I saw when I started channeling energy was, it's I don't know why, but it's dirt bike tires very carefully rolling through like soft dirt, not mud, but soft dirt. The ones that have the big square treads in them. And it's just like I'm just watching it roll like this. You're really making very careful impressions right now. You're being very cautious on where you leave those tread marks. And you know what's funny is there's 2 things about that. One is my first reaction was to say you're being too cautious, but I see why you're being so cautious. Sometimes we have to be very, very cautious because you don't know who's going to come behind you and, be taking molds of those tracks to see where you've been. It's also so much easier to go back and cover tracks up whenever you are very deliberate on where you lay them, when you know exactly where you laid those tracks. This is the same with telling somebody that you say, that old Susie over here is doing everything she can to undermine you, and she's taking everything you tell her and spreading it to the fucking world. So you tell old Susie a lie because you know that she's going to go tell somebody else. And you let her spread that lie because everybody else knows it's a lie. You're being super, super careful with where you're laying those tire marks. And I think that you are completely right on to do that. And I would say not to stop doing that just yet. Be very careful where you're putting those treads. Be very careful where you're putting those tires in general, and be very careful about specifically staying in that soft dirt and not being in the grass and not being in the mud, being in that middle ground, that middle world. It's not time yet for you to be moving over into the lower worlds, and it's not yet time for you to be moving over in the higher worlds, because for some reason you continually are going over this one area over and over, and you're making sure that your treads are getting right in the very same little marks. You're not moving it at all. And you feel like it's a standstill. You feel like you're stuck, but you're not. You're being deliberate. There's a big difference in being stuck and being deliberate. Be deliberate. I think that the reason that you need to be deliberate and that you are doing the same thing over and over in a deliberate manner, it's almost like you're cataloging something. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like you're cataloging something. Don't stop cataloging. You're in this, it's almost like a Groundhog Day loop of this tire going in the same thing over and over. Catalog that. There's a reason that you keep going in that same thing over and over and over. I'm also supposed to tell you to kind of steer clear of her, and I don't know what that means. I don't know if this is somebody that you keep revolving around or if it's somebody new that's popped into your life, but her has very, very blonde hair. Well, I don't think this is a love thing. Yeah, I don't think this is a love thing. This is just, yeah, this is not a love thing. Let me just say that. It's not a love. There's no love lost there. But steer very clear of her with the very, very blonde hair. It's like yellowy blonde. Okay? You know, this I think is more straight up hate. It's straight up hate. And I don't understand why. So it's in this is someone that's been kind of rotating around it's around finances. So I don't know if this is job, if this is at the bank. I don't know who this is. She does have like a wave to her hair. It's not springy curls. It's like a wave. Like now I'm kind of like, wait, who the fuck is this? Because it's like disdain. Like I just want to go punch her right in her face. Yeah. Just steer clear of her. Just steer clear of her. A class? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You just let me know. We can do them by Zoom, whatever. Yeah, just steer clear of her. Just steer clear of her. There's something around her that has to deal with the color lavender as well. Like really a pastel-y kind of lavender. I don't know if it's the shirt she's going to be wearing whenever you come across her or whatever. I don't know what it is, but yeah. It's not a great thing. It's not a great thing. So, I'm just saying. That's your color? Well, maybe the reason I told you that color is just so it would register in your mind like, oh my God, that's my favorite color. Like, does that make sense? Did all that make sense? Yep, confirmation. Exactly, Debbie. Aw, thank you for all the roses, Brett. All right, Sammie. Ready? Oh, you have a pretty powerful lady poking at you lately, don't you? Okay. You wanted to know if you had someone poking at you? 100% you do. And this one loves snakes. So I'm curious. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that you've had someone poking at you? Like, I can tell you exactly who it is. I can tell you exactly who it is. Snakes, keys, dark chocolate for some reason, yellow roses. The moon was a big thing for you this last weekend. It meant a lot to you, and you don't understand why or what it meant, but it meant a lot to you. Also, the color red. You are 100% correct, Flying Dragon. Miss Hecate is, I don't know if you can see my hair standing up. Miss Hecate is 100% reaching out. But here's the thing. She's not reaching out in a, you're going to work with me. This is an olive branch that she is reaching out. So I don't know if you have felt cut off lately, because I see that you say you already work with her. I don't know if you have I have a feeling you're about to be introduced to another one as well that she is bringing into your path. So, purple, stars, the moon. She's bringing an olive branch. And it's in a way of, this one needs to help you with something specific. And she is wanting, it's almost like, so a good mentor, a good guru knows their limitations. They know what they know and what they don't know. They know what they're good at and where their weaknesses lie. And so they build a network of other gurus, so that way when they have someone that needs help and they know that that is not their strong suit, then they can bring someone else in. I am going to advise you of the following, because I don't feel like it is my place to tell you who this is, because you've already been getting the signs for this person, this deity. Look up, well, I guess I need to say goddess. Look up goddesses associated with purple, stars, and the moon. This one's not a deity that I am super familiar with. She's a very interesting one, though. She's also one that does deal with revenge a little bit. So I don't know why I've specifically felt the need to tell you that. But she's a very, very powerful, deity. And this is why the moon touched you in a very deep level. This is why you felt like this last weekend was a level up. This is why you felt like you couldn't get enough of looking at the moon this weekend. No. I don't know if that is her counterpart in a different pantheon. But this is a moon goddess, a goddess of the night. So some of the pantheons are very interesting in that, well, not some of them, all of them. If you line their hierarchies up, they literally match up almost perfectly. They match up almost perfectly. So I will let you kind of research that a little bit, because like I said, it is not my place to tell you out loud. And the reason that it's not my place to tell you out loud is because there are things associated with this goddess that have been popping up for you, that it will mean more to you when you read the things that she's associated with and know, oh my God, I've been seeing that. I've been buying that. I've been eating that. Knowing that you've been doing those things, it'll resonate more hardcore with you in here, and you'll get all the little hair standing up on your end and on their ends and so on. She's not one that's overbearing, if that makes sense. When she pokes at you, she does it in a very subtle way. And I think that it's because a lot of people she's not a mainstream deity like a lot, like Hecate and Zeus and Odin and Hera. She's not like a mainstream deity like that. So she's not overbearing. But she does like dark chocolate. I'm just letting you know. And if you would like, I will be happy to email you her name. Thank you for the roses, love. All right, Miss Heidi Poo, you ready? In fact, you let me know, Sammie, if you would like me to email you later, and I will be happy to. All right, Miss Heidi. Nose is itching, somebody talking about me. The very first thing that I started to see for you, Miss Heidi Poo, is a blue beaded necklace. It's almost like a string of pearls. It sits right about here, but it looks almost like blue apatite. It's very, very pretty bright blue. So what that represents to me in this in particular is that sometimes you don't do things or say things because you don't feel good enough. You don't feel enough. You allow yourself to be lesser than yourself because there is something there that continually here is playing this trick on you that you're not smart enough. You're not this. You're not, I don't know. You're not enough. This has popped in lately and it's been pausing you. So you start to do something and then you pause because whatever, and I keep pointing right here. I don't know if you've had headaches over here on this left side lately or what's going on, but you keep having this thing pop in saying that you're not enough. What's funny about this is that it's happening for a reason. You've been putting in the work, you've been doing the growth, you've been moving forward. Things have been happening to push you forward on the path that you're supposed to be on. And all of those testers are coming at you. They're coming out of the woodwork. They're coming out of the water. They're coming out of the air. They're coming out of everywhere with anything they can do to keep you stuck, to keep you stagnant. The Ozarks are a funny thing. All of those mountains over there are very, very interesting things. And I know that you weren't born there, but did you know that there is a whole interesting type of mountain magic in the Ozarks? It's some pretty powerful shit. It's kind of some scary shit. To be honest, it scares me a little more than other mountain magics. Just a lot of it is because I grew up with a lot of it. I would highly recommend, if you don't already have a couple of books on it or audibles or whatever, I would highly recommend getting a couple. I would highly recommend learning about some of the Ozark mountain magic. A lot of American folk magic that started over on the East Coast and has spread over has very similar roots and very similar bases, but it's interesting. I was always taught that mountains are alive. Mountain ranges are alive. So everything in certain mountain ranges, they have different magics in them. The Rockies have a very unique, very cold-hearted, hardcore magic. The Ozarks have more of a gnome, fae, dark magic. I would highly recommend looking into some of that, because you've lived there enough and you've made friends with enough of the space over there that I think that it would benefit you tremendously to learn about some of the practices and the offerings over there. Ozark mountain magic also is a lot of protection. And I think that that is what's needed right now. I don't know what this is that's popped in up here that's been telling you that you're not good enough. And I know that you've been putting on the good face and the smile and holding your head up and doing the things anyway, because I don't think that you would ever let anybody see you fail. I think that you would rather take a spike to the chest before letting someone see you fail. But it's eating at you, it's getting to you, and I think that working with the spirits that are there, working with the energy that is there, working with the protections that are there, I think you're going to find that your personal power will spike. The only thing that I am going to say is this: be very careful about where you leave offerings. One thing that I can tell you that I was taught with Ozark Mountain Magic is If you leave an offering, you leave it at the edge of your mowed property. So let's say you have like a yard, say you have 5 acres and 2 of those acres are kept mowed. The other 3 are woods. You don't leave that in the woods. You leave it at the edge of your property. Like say that this is your yard, okay? And this out here is the woods. You would leave it like just over the fence, like just over the fence. Nothing needs to come in your yard to get the thing, but you don't need to go into its space to give the offering. I don't know if that makes sense to you. The spirits and the energies over there they're very particular with things, and they're very, very powerful with things. But I think that part of the reason I feel like I need to acknowledge also whatever it is you've been seeing at night outside. Yeah, on the other side of your fence. Yep, exactly. It doesn't need to come in your property, because on your property to get the offering, because then that's an invitation to come into your house. Does that make sense? So it stays just outside, like just on the other side of the fence. Because if it's allowed to come onto your property to get the offering, then that's an invitation into your house. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad that makes sense. But yeah, I was told also to acknowledge the thing that you've been seeing at night, that you've been seeing outside. That in no way needs to come on your property. Whatever it is you've been seeing out of the corner of your eye at night that's been almost giving you the panic of like, get inside, that 100% does not need to come on your property. So, yeah. I would, if you don't already have boundary markers at the edges of your property, I would make you some. They can be as simple as masonry nails driven into the corners of the property. Start with the leftmost corner, like if you're standing in your driveway, the leftmost corner, and work your way clockwise. I wish I had a good book that I could recommend for you with the Ozark Mountain Magic, but there's a ton of them. There's a ton of really good ones. And to channel Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live, you're good enough, you're fantastic enough, and gosh darn it, people like you. You are always more than enough, Miss Heidi. Okay? Yeah, masonry nails, for those of you guys that don't know, masonry nails have the highest concentration of iron in them that you can find in modern nails today. All right, Miss Marenda, you're last. Well, let me make sure. Let me refresh my list, but you are the last one I have on my list. Oh, good, it didn't I was like, oh, no. Oh, Marenda, and then Collette. Okay. All right, Miss Marenda. You are so welcome, love. And if you need anything, you let me know. All right, Miss Marenda, you have an interesting group. I feel like I need to whisper. It's really weird. You have an interesting group of 3 really strong male figures around you. They form like a triangle of protection. So this has its good and its bad with it, because, and the thing is, I think that these people are living. It's their energy that is forming this triangle around you. I don't think that these are people that have passed away. The good and the bad with this is that the good, it offers you protection, and their protective energy has kept a lot of stuff at bay over the years. The bad is that it's too much protection, and it keeps you like you can't move without this triangle being around you, and it bumps into things, and it doesn't allow you to get as deep into things as you would like to. So this is why whenever you're falling down the rabbit hole of wanting to learn something new, wanting to learn take a new class, whatever it is, and it's something that these energies don't agree with or wouldn't agree with if they knew about it, there's always obstacles that get bumped up against. So I really don't know what the right move is here, because if you try to break this protection that they have around you, then the problem is that you could completely break the protection around you, and that it would no longer be there. And I don't want that to happen, because that is a protection of love that's around you. Like they love you, and that's why that's there. But there are ways to kind of form tunnels out and under, if that makes sense. And that is, thank you for the roses, love. That is what I would really recommend. It's almost like, you remember the movie Speed, where they have to release the bottom panel and go out of the speeding bus while the bus is still going. That's what I would recommend, except in this case, the bus is stopped and you can get back on the bus. But I would not recommend you separating yourself from that love and that energy and that protection for very long. There's something specific gift-wise with your family. I almost said curse-wise with your family, but this is one of those gifts that is kind of a curse in a way. And I don't know if this is clairvoyance. No, it's not clairvoyance. Miranda, are you here? Because I wasn't paying attention to see if you were popping up. This gift that your family has, I think that it has skipped a generation. It's skipped your mom. And so it's almost like you know when someone's about to pass away. Like, you know. There's a specific term for it, and it has completely fallen out of my head. But you can see it. You can smell it. And it's something that almost every woman in your family has had. Your mom does not have it. She has it like a tiny bit. She can tell every now and then, but you pretty much are right on. Am I right? It's almost like these three male energies that are around you that protect you. They look at it as protecting you from, this evil shit or whatever. But it is holding you back from this gift being completely open. And I would say before you dive into it and allow that gift to be completely open, I would research it. I would research your family tree a little bit, especially on your mom's side, and B, I would really work on protecting your energetic self. Not your energy, but your energetic self. The self that travels, the self that goes out into the astral, etc. Because when you really open that gift up of being able to see and smell, for some reason I keep feeling like I need to say smell, all of the people around you energetically that are about to pass away, it means that the things on the other side will also see you. And I think that that's why this trio of protection is around you as well. So I would really carefully look into everything. And I would, behind closed doors, be working on protecting yourself. Okay, does that make sense? So this is not a death doula. What a death doula does is they help people transition. A death doula is someone that specifically works with people that have terminal illnesses. And they help not only to prepare the person, but the family for that person passing away. And for those of you guys that are considering being a death doula, I want you to know that it is probably one of the hardest things that there is. Being any kind of caregiver and working with multiple patients, you are going to lose patience. Like it just is what it is. You are going to lose patience. But being a death doula, when you start to take those classes, oh, that makes a lot of sense. You're a nurse and you notice a death smell. So that's why I kept mentioning okay. So you knew exactly what it was when I said smell. When you decide to become a death doula, you have to be okay with the fact that almost 100% of the people you work with will pass away. And it sucks, man. It sucks bad. Like losing a patient always sucks because they do become your friends. You know what I mean? They do become your friends. So you have to be prepared that you have to be the strong one and you cannot show emotion. You always have to be level and you always have to be calm because that family is in transition. And it sucks. It fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. So, Miss Marenda, I would make sure that you study this. It's driving me up the wall that I can't remember the name for this. But I would really hone your protection skills for your energetic self before you start to really utilize this gift. Okay? And by the way, I think it's interesting that you have that smell. I know a lot of people that are drawn to working in hospice, that are drawn to working with people that are at the end of their life. They do have that smell. They do have that smell. They can smell it. Mine is a little interesting. Sometimes I can smell it, but the majority of the time I can see it in their voice. Like I can see it in their voice. I can see it in their energy. I can shake somebody's hand and know. So, all right, Miss Collette, you ready? For those of y'all just joining, no, my list is sold out for this evening. After I do this last reading, I was going to stay on for a little bit and, okay, and get some scheduling done, but I think I'm going to get off of here since we have book club in 12 hours. In exactly 12 hours. All right. I'm not going to lie. When I saw your name on here, I'm a big Futurama fan. And in it, that's one of the female personalities that Bender takes on is Collette. And so as soon as I saw that name, I was like, what? Like, it's one of Ben. I love me some Bender. I love that name too. I think it's really cool. That's a really pretty name. It's so funny whenever I channeled your energy a little bit, I didn't have to channel much. You were like a conduit. You were like super wide open. I kept seeing all these roses, like rooms and fields of just roses. And it told me a couple of different things. One, that you're genuinely good person. You do want the best for everybody. You do want people to be happy. And the other thing is that being a conduit, you end up bringing out the best in people. So what it ends up looking like to you, because this can also make you bitter. Because what this ends up looking like is your manifestations are working for everybody else and not you. It looks like when you're manifesting, your best friend's getting it, or your sister, or your kids, or your husband, or somebody down the street that you just talked to the other day, because you're a conduit. So let me tell you how to fix that. When you're manifesting, especially because you are a conduit, you need to make sure that you have something physical that represents that manifestation. So let's say that you are wanting to either get a raise or a promotion that gives you more money. You need to have what I would recommend is a clear jar, but on the bottom, your name needs to go on the bottom of that jar. Like, you need to be like Collette, and then money goes in the jar. Okay. If you're doing a working for protection, and you're doing a candle working, your name goes on the bottom of there. If you're doing, even if you just have a candle and you're not going to burn the candle, you still need to have your name on the bottom of there. Like, you need to be marking the things that you're using for your manifestation with your name. And if you don't have a magical name yet, then I would really start looking into choosing one. The one thing about being a conduit is that you will automatically give energy to other people. You will automatically manifest for them. You will automatically start bringing in all of the good for them. This works the other way too. Being a conduit also means that you will bring karma into somebody. If you're around somebody, and you may think, let's just say Bob at work. Bob's always been nice to you, and you like Bob. Bob's a good guy, but there's something weird about Bob, and you don't know there's something about Bob, and you don't know what it is, right? You're just like, you always kind of keep Bob at arm's length because there's just something, right? Being a conduit, let's say Bob outside of work is a fucking shitbag, okay? Being a conduit, you being around Bob will draw that karma in faster. It will 100% draw that karma in faster. And maybe you come into work one day and find out that Bob's in jail, like things like that. Being a conduit, you are going to be able to channel energy in a way that you don't even know you're doing it, because you've been doing it your entire life. It's who you are. It's built into your energetic DNA, into your meat sack DNA. Like, it's not going anywhere. The other thing about being a conduit that is fantastic is you're also automatically an energy well. Anybody that is a conduit is an energy well, because you can be both and you can be one or the other. Not every energy well is a conduit, but every conduit has an energy well, I guess, if that makes sense. An energy well is somebody whose meat sack produces more energy than they can ever use. So you do things to give energy away, because if you don't give that energy away, then you don't sleep. You can't focus because your brain's constantly running a bazillion miles an hour. You do things like volunteer for way too much. You do things like you over give. You take care of everyone around you. Energy wells will also overwhelm energy workers, newer energy workers that are not used to working on energy wells. When people are around you, they can get dizzy, they can get nauseous, they can have a headache, because if you haven't let go of a lot of energy that day, say they catch you first thing in the morning and you're wide awake, you're switched on, you're ready to go, you can make people physically sick because your energy is too much. Now, the thing about this, I wish I could say, okay, here's how you control it, and you do blah, 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 blah. But really, it's just time. It's just time and learning how to kind of, you know how you see, like, the Tesla coils and Tesla tubes, the big long glass tubes, and it has the ball of energy inside and it crackles and you can touch the glass and it'll come up to your fingers. It's learning to put that glass tube over the top of it so you can give your energy out when you are ready to give it out. But you still have to find avenues of giving a lot of it out. A perfect example is people that are speakers, people that are performers, people that they crave that aspect of, and it's not for the attention, it's because they need to get rid of a massive amount of energy right then. So these are usually people that are more like reluctant celebrities because but they're fantastic at it. So I would say Keanu Reeves falls into this. He's not someone who is known for being like stuck up. He's not someone who's known for being unkind. In fact, he's known as being one of the most kind people in Hollywood, a normal person. But if you look at any of the parts he has ever played, he is a phenomenal actor and he gives every single thing to it. That is what I'm talking about. He is able to channel all of that energy. And then when he is not doing that, he's able to put a glass case over it. It just comes with time and with working on that particular thing for you to be able to do that. It's just practice. Really, it's just practice. But you are 100% a conduit. And this is why you feel like your manifestations happen for everybody else. You understand all of it. What is a magical name and why do you need one? Okay. So a magical name is something that traditionally an elder would give to you or help you choose, but you're not supposed to tell other people. The only people that usually you tell are people in your coven. But the way it was explained to me when I was younger, and the practice that I follow as I slap myself in the chest, the practice that I follow is that a magical name is like a safety blanket, okay? You have your actual name, so you're Collette, right? So let's say that all of your life you've been drawn to a certain name, let's say Diana, okay? You always loved Wonder Woman, you love the deity Diana, you've always been drawn to that name in particular. Then you can adopt the name Diana as your magical name. So whenever you are doing something spiritual, something magical, a working, you use that name. You use Diana as your magical name instead of Collette. But you don't tell other people the magical name because that's part of it. That's like a secret aspect of you, a secret part of you. It's used as protection. It's used as a safety blanket. It's used so if you're doing a working under Diana instead of Collette, nobody knows who Diana is. They know who Collette is, but they don't know who Diana is. So if they know that you're a practitioner and they're trying to undo something, maybe they really don't like you or they don't like somebody that you did something for and they're trying to undo it. They may be trying to undo whatever it is that Collette did, not knowing that you work magically under the name Diana. So the practice that I was taught growing up is that you have two magical names. So if you are in a coven, then you have a magical name that you work with within the coven. So in the coven, you may be Shira. Just, you're welcome for that. And in private, you're Diana. So it's like a safety blanket. It's like being anonymous without being anonymous, if that makes sense. So, with that, my dears, I am going to get off here. You are so welcome. I'm going to get off here and I'm going to go curl up with some tiny dogs and a weird cat who likes to sleep with his forehead against my cheek. I don't know. It's a thing now, I guess. I will see you guys at 10 a.m. Central for Bodhi's book club. I have not decided which book we're starting with yet. I figure I'm going to make that decision first thing in the morning. But I will see you guys then. And of course, tomorrow is Reiki and Zodiacs. So, all right, guys, go get a good night's sleep. And I'll see you tomorrow.